USAtoday.com accused of murder and burning a body. Fernando Acosta Jr. heads to court next week, where we're learning about the case coming up. The Victoria ISD prepares for its cell phone ban policy. We'll explain how it will be enforced. And severe weather is costing more than ever, how natural disasters are pushing home insurance rates higher.
Part of our changing planet. For us, another really scorcher of a day tomorrow, but the weekend may actually give us a break. Some showers are expected. We'll talk about that coming up in a moment.
And a top-tier volleyball tournament takes place here in Victoria. Find out how many teams competed and hear from a couple of the players later on.
You're watching 25 News now at 10. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Amaya Norman, filling in for Shauna Curry and Don Brubaker tonight. Fernando Acosta Jr. is expected in court Wednesday, July 30th, for a pre-trial hearing. He's indicted on charges of tampering with evidence, abuse of corpse, and the murder of Amanda Johnson. Her body was found by two hunters in a burnt vehicle on April 18th of 2021 near Midfield in Matagorda County. She was 38 and a mother of two. If convicted, Acosta faces 5 to 99 years or life in prison for the murder charge, 2 to 20 years for the tampering with evidence charge, and 6 months to 2 years for the state jail felony charge of abuse of a corpse. And this morning, Victoria police responded to a two-vehicle crash on Houston Highway. Investigators say a black SUV was turning left from Ben Wilson Street when it struck by a white pickup traveling eastbound. Authorities say the pickup ran a red light before the collision. Both drivers were taken to a local hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. A citation was issued to the driver of the black Yukon at the scene. And Victoria ISD now proposing a new cell phone policy in response to House Bill 1481, which requires Texas public schools to ban students' use of personal communication devices during the school day. The ban covers smartphones, flip phones, tablets, smartwatches, radios, and more. School issues devices are exempt. Districts must either ban devices on campus or provide a shortage method during the day. After 90 days of written notice to parents, unclaimed devices can be confiscated and disposed of. Victoria ISD released the following statement regarding the policy, quote, VISD will require all personal communication devices to be powered off and stored securely out of sight for the entirety of the school day. This includes class time, passing periods, lunch, before/after school, while on campus during school hours. VISD will hold a special board meeting on August 7th to present the proposed cell phone policy. All school districts must adopt a policy in compliance with the House Bill 1481 by September 18th of this year. And the Shiner ISD board this week approved a new cell phone policy for students. The policy says students cannot have their cell phones turned on while they're inside the school. Shiner ISD officials say the goal of the policy is to increase engagement and decrease distractions. State legislature today started a formal investigation into the deadly July 4th flooding disaster. At least 136 people were killed. That includes more than 100 people who died in Kerr County, where children's camps and RV parks were situated along the Guadalupe River. In today's special hearing, officials looked into how response teams handled the emergency. Investigators focused on whether the flooding disasters could have been prevented next week. Texas lawmakers will hear directly from survivors in the hard-hit areas. And long-standing issues may have led to the deadly Hill Country floods. That's what witnesses told lawmakers in Austin today. Officials cited poor communication, unqualified emergency coordinators, and other problems. A 2020 state report offered ways to improve training, but lawmakers, including Senator Louis Colhorts, questioned why those changes were never made. Captain Kenny Jones of the Salvation Army of Victoria spent last week helping with flood recovery in Kerr County. Jones provided emotional and spiritual care for Salvation Army workers after they returned from assisting people there. He was also on the scene offering spiritual support to first responders and victims.
I'm not sure how to express it. It's just very difficult to imagine without seeing the destruction there. How much hurt there was, even for those that came in to assist.
Captain Kenny said if you want to donate to the Salvation Army for flood relief, please make monetary donations. Now it's time to check in on our weather. Let's go to Maclovia Perez with the first look at our forecast. Mac.
Well, thank you very much. Another hot day for your Thursday, but by the weekend, things are looking pretty good. We've got this whole surge of tropical moisture spinning around. If it were out over water, it could develop, but it's probably not going to develop. Nonetheless, it's going to be bringing us a good chance for rain this coming weekend. It's also going to knock the temperature down a little bit. That'll be nice. We'll talk more about that coming up in just a moment.
Average home insurance policy costs across the country have gone up in the last year, and it's due to a variety of factors. In today's Consumer Watch, Jen Sullivan looks at the rising costs and what you can do to try and save money.
From ravenous wildfires to devastating tornadoes, natural disasters are becoming more frequent and more intense. Last year, there were 27 confirmed weather and climate disasters in the U.S., with losses exceeding $1 billion, according to NOAA. Because of this, many home insurance companies are raising policy rates.
There are more natural disasters happening, and they're affecting more homes.
Holden Lewis with NerdWallet says they recently conducted a survey among homeowners and found 54% said their premiums have gone up in the last 12 months. These rate hikes aren't specific to certain states, it's nationwide.
They end up having to pass along some of those costs to states that might have fewer natural disasters.
State Farm recently raised home insurance rates by an average of 27.2% in Illinois. They say it's because in 2024, for every dollar they collected from policyholders, State Farm paid out $1.26. State Farm said Illinois had the second highest hailstorm damage claims last year, totaling $638 million. Telling CNN in part, accurate risk-based pricing makes sure that insurers like State Farm can pay claims during some of life's toughest moments for policyholders.
Some of the most costly natural disasters are hailstorms.
Inflation and the rising cost of supplies is also contributing to higher premiums. But Lewis says there are things you can do to help lower your rates. Adding roof trusses or upgrading your garage door can help get a better rate. Also installing fire alarms and security systems. And shop around to compare different companies' premiums. For Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
A reminder, home insurance does not cover flooding. That is a separate policy altogether. Hurricane season is underway and there are several ways to prepare. It recommends that you review FEMA guide to better prepare for the next hurricane. The Texas A&M Engineering Extension Service partners with Texas A&M Sea Grant to create a program focused on public assistance and disaster recovery. This program trains first responders on how to assist damage in countries after a storm. Instructor Vince Slaminski says it's important for first responders and residents to work together to survive a hurricane.
If a hurricane comes through here, which this area could definitely be a direct hit, it's not going to just be one county that's affected, it's going to be several counties.
Slaminski also says families should evacuate if they feel the need and if it's safe to do so. The Texas A&M Engineering Extension Service is holding another meeting tomorrow from 8 a.m. till noon. And here's your viewer poll for tonight. Which item do you not have ready for a hurricane emergency? And we have water supplies, flashlight and batteries, important documents and cash, I'm all prepared, non-perishable foods, first aid kits, and all of the above. And now at 45% is I'm all prepared with a majority. And second is all of the above. Well, it's glad to hear that at least majority is all prepared. And we would still love to hear from you if you would like to vote. Just come over to our website at crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part. And those who voted, thank you for participating tonight. Here are some of the top headlines in the Port Lavaca wave. The Port Lavaca City Council is split on a substandard building board. Mayor Jack Whitlow cast the breaking vote, and the Calhoun Port Authority Board will expand to 7 members. To read these stories and more, go to portlavacawave.com. A North Texas family is urging authorities in the Bahamas to take actions following a boat accident while on vacation. A man was ran over by a boat and nearly cut in half. The family wants the 2 people on the boat to be charged. J.D. Miles has a story.
He is doing okay after that surgery, so we are now trying to figure out our plan of when we can get transferred to Dallas and what that looks like.
Whitney Slough says her husband Brent continues to recover in a Miami hospital exactly 3 weeks after their family vacation to the Bahamas took a horrific turn. While snorkeling just offshore, Whitney's 42-year-old husband and the father of their 2 girls was run over by a small motorboat that left him with life-threatening injuries and led to a dramatic effort to get him to a hospital in the U.S. While he faces several more days there, his wife has been shuttling between there and North Texas, where their children are preparing to return to school. She is also continuing to put pressure on authorities in the Bahamas to criminally charge the occupants of the boat. Slough told me those 3 men have been identified and were briefly in custody, but have since been released. She hopes those who support her husband, who is a former Army Ranger, will help the effort to put pressure on authorities there to take action.
I don't know, JD, what I should really say about this, but I feel like the more people that are calling them, the better to keep this front and center so that they really pursue criminal charges against these men that did this to Brent. I want justice for Brent.
Friends of the family continue to collect donations to help with medical expenses, including an air ambulance that will be needed to return Brent Slough to North Texas, which could come as soon as next week.
As consumptions of fossil fuels continues to rise, technologies developed by Texas companies could help change the view of carbon as a hard-to-manage waste product. To read this full Texas Tribune article, visit our website at crossroadstoday.com. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today, hit the like button and click the notification bell. Stay with us. Coming up on 25 News Now at 10, the FDA unveiled an AI tool to speed drug approvals, but is creating fake studies. Why limited oversight of an AI in medicines could put patients at risk. And HHS Secretary signs a key vaccine recommendation today, what this means for future vaccine safety. Nine men in New Orleans are accused of escaping from jail in May. Officials say they got out by slipping through a hole behind a toilet and climbing over a barbed wire fence. This is one of the biggest jail escapes in recent U.S. history. The men were seen on video and now they have pleaded not guilty to escape charges. A 10th man, Derek Groves, who was in jail for murder, is still on the run. And all 10 men face escape charges that could bring to 2 to 5 years in prison. A doctor pleaded guilty to giving ketamine to Friends star Matthew Perry before his death. Dr. Salvador Plasencia is now the 4th person out of 5 who was charged in connections to the actor 2023 overdose death to plead guilty. He admitted to committing 4 counts of distribution of ketamine in Los Angeles today. The doctor could face up to 40 years in prison. And even after Elon Musk's departure from the White House earlier this year, Tesla reported revenue and profits have both fallen in the second quarter of 2025. This is a second straight negative earning report for Tesla. Revenue was down 12% from a year ago. Earnings were also down 23%. The company said to investors Tesla is becoming a leader in AI, robotics, and leading the EV and renewable energy industry as transitions for the company over the last 3 months. Tesla is still the #1 electric vehicle seller in the U.S. The FDA is running into possible problems with this new AI tool, ELSA, designed to speed up drugs and device approvals. Staff say ELSA is generating fake studies and can't access key documents needed to judge safety and effectiveness. Meanwhile, AI use in medicine has little federal oversight, though Trump officials claim it will save money in the long run. And the Supreme Court says President Trump can remove 3 members of the Consumer Product Safety Commission for now. It's part of a past decision that lets him remove certain officials while legal fight continues. Trump removed the 3 in May, but a lower court said they should get their jobs back. All 3 were picked by President Biden. Today, the department announced that HHS Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has formally signed the recommendation. That recommendation was made last month by the CDC Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices. Now, thimerosal was largely removed from most vaccines about 25 years ago. However, it can be included in multi-dose vials to prevent bacterial contamination. There is no clear evidence of how harm from the medicine may present. Kennedy say the move is to protect vulnerable population from unnecessary mercury exposures. TikTok skincare trends aren't just catching on the teens. Even elementary school kids are copying that and multi-step routines they see online. With more, here's ABC News.
A 7-year-old holding a serum dropper full of retinol in front of a ring light might look cute on TikTok, but experts say it could be harmful. Researchers at Northwestern University looked at TikTok skincare videos created by kids and found many featured products in the most viewed videos were loaded with harsh ingredients. Products contained an average of 11 active ingredients, like salicylic acid and glycolic acid, which can irritate young skin and even cause an allergic reaction. And many of these products were meant to treat acne, even though most young girls don't have acne at all. Also concerning, only a quarter of the videos mentioned sunscreen, despite guidelines from pediatricians and dermatologists recommending daily use to protect the skin from sun damage. Researchers found the price tag for these fancy face routines costs an average of $168. They say parents should pay closer attention to what kids are watching and what they're putting on their faces. With this Medical Minute, I'm Zoreen Shah.
You may want to throw out your tuna salad. Several retailers are recalling products containing tuna salad due to a possible Listerine contamination. Now, Tom Thumb and Jewel Costco sold the tuna salad products, which were supplied by Razor Fine Foods. They were sold in Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Arkansas, Louisiana, Oklahoma, and Texas. The use-by dates were either July 16th through the 18th or July 17th through the 19th. Consumers should throw out the food or return it for a full refund. They should also thoroughly sanitize any surface or containers that came into contact with the recall product. Here are some of the top headlines in Cuero Records. A citizen group put the Cuero ISD board on the spot at its recent meeting. And the Wittstoff volunteer fire chief asked DeWitt County commissioners to increase the department budget. To these stories and more, visit DeWittCountyToday.com.
Well, good evening, everybody. We're looking at 82 degrees. The evening was fairly nice. The daytime was a little bit on the toasty side. We managed to get up to 98 degrees today. Tomorrow's another hot one, but there's a little hope over the weekend that we'll get a little shower activity, and that may knock down the temperature a little bit. We'll talk more about it coming up after this. Well, good afternoon or good evening, everybody. I was thinking of the afternoon that was a little bit on the warm side. In fact, with the 98-degree temperature, our heat index popped up to 108 today. So if you thought the afternoon was uncomfortable, that's why. And tomorrow we've got another day similar to that. We've got no rain over our area because high pressure is developed over much of the southern half of the country. And wherever this bubble is, that's where the heat wave is. So you can see Chicago all the way to New Orleans and of course over to our area and all the way south. This is actually a bubble of high pressure that's sitting on top of us, keeping everything away. However, it is going to be moving around, and as a result, we're optimistic that this whole surge of tropical moisture from Florida all the way to Louisiana will continue drifting westward and visit the crossroads beginning Friday night. I think Saturday is a good day that we'll get some garden variety showers out there. Now, if this were to center itself over the Gulf, it would have the potential to strengthen up into a tropical system. However, it's pretty much over land, so it's really not going to get much growth out of it. Nonetheless, it is a pocket of showers and moisture that's going to affect our area over the weekend. Also affecting the rest of the country is the heat wave. As you can see, all of these are heat advisories, basically from Chicago, well, upper Michigan all the way down into southeast Texas. Now, of course, that is going to continue because the bubble is actually going that way, and that moisture is going to slide under it to affect our area. But if you're going to be outdoors working tomorrow, just, take it easy, do the best you can. Looking at a heat index of 106, about somewhere between 2 and 3 o'clock. And then because of the clouds arriving on Friday, it knocks down a little bit. And then on Saturday, with the potential for showers around here, will only be at 101. How exciting. But the problem is we get right back to it for early next week because it is July. Now, this is the future tracker and tells you how much rain is going to get per day. We go forward from Thursday all the way to Friday. And you can see that on Friday, something's happening here. But on Saturday is really the best day of getting some shower activity around the crossroads. Now, I wouldn't call this severe weather. I'll call it slow-moving downpours, probably a half an inch to maybe less, depending on where you're standing. But some spots may actually pick up a little bit heavier rain than that. I don't expect any flooding out of this. Nonetheless, just keep on the lookout. This will be afternoon stuff, popping between 2 and 4 o'clock on Saturday afternoon, and probably again on Sunday. One of the reasons why we have not had much of a tropical storm season, which is okay, I'm not complaining, has been the amount of dust that we've had in the air all the way from Africa. Well, you can see another huge plume that's traversing across the Atlantic, will be visiting our area. And so with this, you can forecast dust in the air, no tropical storms for how many days? About 7 days. So that's okay. I'm not missing him. I'm just telling you why we're not getting them like we expected earlier in the season. The Saharan desert has been just sending us dust. Can you believe it? Low tonight, only getting down to about 75, and tomorrow, yes, another toasty day. 97 for us, 100 in Gonzales, 101 in Karnes City. Out in Port Lavaca, if you're going to go out to the beach or to the bay there, we are looking pretty good. Sunny skies with a 96, and in Cuero you're getting up to a 97. So just keep in mind the afternoon heat and take care of it. Otherwise, with an increasing chance for rain, this would be Thursday night late. Saturday, a good shot at getting some shower activity, decreasing on Sunday, and then back next week, it gets hot again. That's your 7-day forecast, reminding everybody we do have this quick response code. Take a picture of it with your phone and put Crossroads Today on your phone. Now, who was playing baseball today, Max?
Well, that would be the Victoria Generals there, Matt, because again, they officially made the TCL playoffs and they had a game there tonight as well. So I'll mention that. Also, what is their seeding and who will they face? To find out all those answers coming up in sports. With volleyball season only 3 weeks away from the first scrimmages and then two-a-days starting in early August, the Crossroads Sports Center here in Victoria hosted their last high school volleyball tournament today, and all the teams that competed were familiar names from the previous two, Goliad, Victoria West, and Victoria East, but some of the new teams were at El Campo, Industrial Calhoun, and two Corpus schools in Gregory Portland and Flower Bluff. So multiple of these teams made it very far in the playoffs their last season. At the end of this tournament today, Goliad would win back-to-back tournaments after beating Flower Bluff there in 3 sets. So still after the tournament, though, I had a chance to talk to Victoria West senior Emily Parker and El Campo junior libero Addison Murta about what type of leadership they plan on bringing to this upcoming season.
Just kind of giving them guidance on just them being first-year varsity players, us helping them, encouraging them, and just staying a positive attitude and just helping them through. Because it's really nerve-wracking when playing varsity for the first time.
For the back row, being controlled and consistent in the back row, leading the team, being able to get a good pass so our setters can do their job and their hitters. You know, it all starts with the back row, and I just want to do the best that I can to give the best effort towards my team.
Both Mertz and Parker competed against each other there in that tough 3-set loss there in the losers bracket, as you see there from the video. But again, still these teams are hoping to make a deep run into the playoffs going into 3 weeks from now. And over to Victoria Northeast, where we talked about in the past couple days as they traveled to Easley, South Carolina earlier today from Houston about earlier this morning, but they showed up there about a couple hours ago. These new jerseys you see, again, they're going to wear those again, orange and yellow type of uniforms there going into their first round action. That's going to start there Sunday at 11 a.m. out there in ESPN Plus, where they're going to face either the winner of, again, East or Central. Still figuring that out. That'll be Sunday at 11 a.m. for Victoria Northeast, which will be representing in Southwest. But how about the Victoria Generals? They're 1 week away from the playoffs, and you're probably wondering how they're in the playoffs, but where are they going to be at seeding-wise and who they're going to face? Well, they're going to face the Brazos Valley Bombers there, and the first game for that will be on Tuesday of next week, and then they'll travel to Brazos Valley there on Wednesday for Game 2, and then if necessary, Game 3 will be then on Thursday back at Riverside if that would be the case. And again, they'll face either the winner of the two Louisiana teams that made the playoffs in the Baton Rouge Rougarou or the Acadian King Cutters. That game will be there on August 1st. That'll be Saturday at 7:05 p.m. And now over to the game itself, where again the Generals, they played the Seguin River Monsters there tonight at Riverside Stadium. They got on the board there earlier. They got some big production there from Cole Tabor, who again got 2 RBIs tonight. Then Travis Bragg got 1 RBI to help out the Generals. Again, they had the lead there 5-3 last I check. And again, we're going to see if that gets updated there later on, because Shiner High School native Drew Winsky, he pitched 5 innings for the Generals, had 4 strikeouts. So for sure, though, the Generals, they're going to be back on the road there tomorrow night there in Seguin. That first pitch will be at 7:05 p.m. And that's going to do it here in sports. Amaya, back to you.
Thank you, Max. Stay with us. Coming up on 25 News now at 10. We'll take a last look at your weather. And a dying maple tree in a Vermont park is getting a unique second life. How artists and officials turn a safety hazard into a beautiful attraction.
Watch tonight or you're terminated. I like to do Arnold's quotes to him, so I'd always be like, get down, let's go to the chopper, come on.
He lost his home, but never lost his heart. Center Point native Jimmy Wilton returned to find his trailer flooded, 20 inches of water inside. Instead of grieving, he went straight to the Guadalupe River, joining a search team to help recover flood victims. A veteran who's faced his own battles, Wilton says he had to stay strong for others. His efforts brought closure to families and a surprise gift from a donor, a new place to call home. Love that. And a Chicago reporter stopped a live report to help someone in need Wednesday. WLS reporter was reporting live on air, talking about the dangerous heat impacting the city. He then abruptly stopped and ran off. Minutes later, he explained he saw a cyclist and a runner collided. And he said the cyclist's helmet broke, which is why he and the photojournalist ran off to make sure he wasn't hurt. He said the cyclist said he was okay and then resumed reporting on the weather. Wow.
Good for him, being
Yes.
aware. You know, you never know what's going to happen.
Well, it's not a good sign when your helmet breaks.
Yeah, that's not a good sign.
Not a good sign.
Yeah. So
Well, today and tomorrow, we're looking for a high of 98. So Chicago and the Victoria area are dealing with this heat wave. Now, with a little luck, we'll get some clouds late on Friday. And then on Saturday, we may have a good chance of getting some of those little afternoon showers that roll around the area. Now, I wouldn't call these severe, and I don't want you to worry about them. I don't think everybody's going to see them, but at least it'll knock the temperature down a few degrees and give us a little bit of a cooling breeze for the evening.
Yeah, we need some cool breeze around here. But thanks to sculptor John Chainsaw, this decade-old maple tree is a Vermont City Park is being transformed into artwork. City officials determined the tree was in a bad health and needed to be taken down due to potential safety hazards of falling branches. But instead of just chopping the tree down, a planted grass seed official had another idea: honor the long-standing tree with something more attractive to the eye. Now, thank you for joining us, and join Sunrise with Carolina Strain and meteorologist Parker Cox at 5.